friends, how are you? And what I want to show you is where you will find the preparation materials. So if you go into modules here, and you'll see in this getting started area, here there is a resource list. That's where you need to click. Now, actually on my version, it's not going to work for you. So I'm just going to do some little editing magic now. Watch this. So here, basically, you're seeing my version of the list, and hopefully it will look a little bit different, but it won't look terribly different to you. Basically, this is a really good program. It's not used in all classes, but it's used in many of them, and it really gives us as teachers opportunities to put readings all together to make sure that you can access them online. Which is really important these days, and also to organise things. It also gives you opportunities to mark off what reading you've done, to be really clear on what's next, get some idea of how many pages of reading there is so you can kind of manage your time, and also raise questions directly or to discuss them with students. So in this particular one, what I want you to do, let me get my mouse in the right place, is exactly as it said on the screen here. I would like you to read these materials before the intensive if you can. You'll see that there is this fabulous article. Now, it's a little bit old. I've got to say, I don't usually like to give you anything that is more than 5 years old. It's about my outside. And this is 2008. But it really sets up the position for design thinking and was really one of the first business articles about what design thinking is and how it works. It's a really easy read. It's a really valuable piece. And I think what you'll find is it'll really help you get an idea of what design thinking is, because my guess is most of you won't really have much of a concept of that yet. And when you think about design, you'll be thinking about what things look like and whether they're artistic or not. And it's surprising how few of us think about what it means to be thinking. So I'd really like you to read that. There's also a couple of book chapters here. I think this one from Jeannie Ledeker's latest book, actually it's Ledeker, Hold, Eldridge. Jeannie Ledeker is, again, one of the foremost scholars in the design thinking area. She's out of Darden University. And we use a lot of her base textbook, essentially, which is really the first book that really outlined a step-by-step process for using design thinking to innovate and to solve problems. This particular book chapter is the first chapter in a book, clearly. It's the first chapter in her latest book, which really looks at what she has learned in the last 10 or more years of teaching design thinking and facilitating design thinking workshops in business. And so some of it is a rethinking of her earlier approach. Some of it is really bringing together things around the types of personalities that work well in this area, or how to think about different personalities, etc. But I think this particular introduction chapter, which is really around how we as humans interact with design, will really set the framework for how this subject works quite well. Again, from Jeannie Ledeker, this next chapter is about why design overlaps a little bit with the first one, or with these other chapters here, all the same author, or all the same lead author, but look at it from a very different point of view. This book, the Designing for Growth, even though you might get a number of pages, it's a really easy read. In fact, I'll show it to you in a second. Probably the one that you could leave to last if you wanted to is this one. This is more academic, and it's really focusing on the research, particularly after 10 or more than 10 years of teaching and facilitating design thinking workshops. Ledeker and the others work through why they think it works. And I think it's a pretty compelling argument. I'm very happy if you don't agree. I love an argument in our classes. But I think if you've got these 5 materials under your belt, you will have absolutely no problem hitting the ground running with me. So how do you read things? Let me actually show you with this one. Basically, all you need to do is hit the view online. You might get a little bit of a wait. You will need to log in. And then you're going to see something like this. Now, actually, it took a little bit longer. I just didn't want to film the waiting. But then again, I filled in your time by saying I didn't film the waiting. The first time you log in, it takes a little while. Once you're actually all set up and flying, it's all fine. So as you'll see, look, each book works slightly differently. Most of them will have chapters down the side. You can search within. So if we look for something, let me look for lipstick. Can't remember if there's a reference to the lipstick in here. How we go. There we go. And you can find the thing that you are looking for, or you can just read the chapter that you need to read. Now, that's why I just wanted to point out, particularly with this book, looks like it's quite a lot of pages, but it's a really easy read, lots of diagrams, lots of stories in there, and I think you'll enjoy working with it. As you can see, you can also use these materials, so if, and I suggest that you do, you are quoting from this in a subsequent essay. You can use the citation features to find the right citation. We use RMIT, Harvard. Australian Harvard is, well, it's pretty well close enough. If you want to talk to a group member about it, you can send them a link, you can email the pages, you can save things. There's a whole lot of functionality in here. And if we flip back to the resource list, you'll see also that with each of these materials, you have an opportunity to mark something as done. Nothing more satisfying than marking it as done. You can also add your own comments, enter into a discussion. I think in the student mode, you can do that at the at this level, but what you're seeing here is actually in the teacher mode. So that was the first thing I wanted to talk to you about. I'm going to leave this little video here because I want to make another one for you about preparing for that first class and that first assignment. You'll see me in the next one. Cheers.